Voters got to see the Republican candidates debate one final time last night before tomorrow's South Carolina primary. And it's a different race than just a day ago.
That's right. One candidate's gone, another's facing accusations about his personal life. Jennifer Wishon has the story from South Carolina.
In 24 hours, a candidate dropped out and threw his support behind Newt Gingrich.
I believe Newt is a conservative visionary.
While Rick Santorum was declared the new winner of the Iowa caucuses.
A little delayed, but most welcome victory there. Thank you to the people of Iowa.
And Newt Gingrich's second wife told two major news outlets the former speaker doesn't have the moral character to lead the nation. In the final debate before South Carolina Republicans vote for the Republican nominee, Gingrich was asked if he wanted to respond.
No, but I will. I am appalled that you would begin a presidential debate on a topic like that. Let me be quite clear. The story is false.
Romney and Santorum passed on piling on.
And I thank God for forgiveness.
Congressman Ron Paul took a jab.
I think setting standards are very important, and I'm very proud that my wife of 54 years is with me tonight.
As the field narrows and the stakes increase, Santorum used every chance to distinguish himself as the clear conservative.
I've been fighting for health reform, private sector, bottom up, the way America works best for 20 years. Well, these two guys were playing footsies with the left.
If you want to go be governor of Massachusetts, fine. But I want to be president and let states take responsibility for their own plans.
It was an important exchange, especially for voters who haven't made up their minds. Michael Tukoski is trying to decide between Gingrich and Romney.
You know, I almost kind of wish I could get almost like a mixture of the two. You know, I want Gingrich's experience, but Mitt's business acumen, and maybe a little Ron Paul's passion.
This indecision is creating problems and opportunities for the frontrunners. And with voters heading to the polls tomorrow, there's still no telling who will win this race. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Charleston, South Carolina.
Maybe the voters will elect a triumvirate, and we'll go back to the Roman history books and find out what it's like to have three different rulers all sharing power equally. We're in for a wild one. If you're in South Carolina, go out and vote. Lee Webb has the rest of our top stories from the CBN Newsroom. Lee?
Gordon, U.S. and Israeli leaders are meeting behind closed doors in Jerusalem to talk about Iran's nuclear program. The chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, this man, General Martin Dempsey, is expected to urge Israeli leaders to support sanctions against Iran and not launch an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Israel has said it would rather seek a diplomatic solution with Iran, but it's kept the military option open. Israel believes Iran is close to developing the technology needed to build an atomic weapon. The Midwest is seeing the first big snowstorm of the season. Chicago and St. Louis are expected to get around 8 inches of snow. Michigan and Indiana could see up to a foot. This is the same system that clobbered the Seattle area a couple of days ago. 17 inches of snow, as you see here, caused a traffic nightmare in the capital city of Olympia. Unusual because the Pacific Ocean usually moderates the amount of snowfall west of the Cascade Mountains. The National Weather Service is now concerned melting snow will lead to widespread flooding in the Northwest. The White House will ask Congress to try to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in the years ahead. The so-called Super Committee tried to come up with deficit reductions last year but failed. That means automatic spending cuts will go into effect next year. But the administration and congressional Republicans are worried those cuts could cripple the military. So the White House is hoping Congress can come up with other ways to cut the deficit. The administration plan will likely include new taxes and fees that Republicans will not go for. So another showdown could be looming, Gordon, over the budget. Back to you.
Lee, get used to saying that phrase, another showdown over the budget. We're going to be seeing this play out in the interesting thing, or maybe the horrifying thing, is that by 2020, some of our entitlement programs literally start dwarfing everything else we do. Currently, if you get rid of all discretionary spending and all military spending, you have not solved the deficit problem because of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. Until you start dealing with the entitlement issues, and nobody, neither party is putting that on the table, until you start dealing with the entitlement problem in America, we're not going to be having balanced budgets. And gets worse, as the medical costs of Medicare and Medicaid increase, as our population, the baby boomers, all age, we're going to be seeing some huge deficits by 2020 if we don't do something. We've got to start cutting from the eligibility, not the benefit, but the eligibility. Who is eligible, and do we start raising the age before you can become entitled to receive those programs? Until we do that, we're not going to see it.